Hey, everybody, welcome to Spill the Immunity. I am here with the boys, my California girls, Brandon, Alex, and Brennan. Hey, guys, what do we think of this episode?
We're all not talking right now because we don't know where to start. This episode had everything in it that you watch Survivor for. Loved it.
That's good. What about you, Alex?
Yeah, I liked it. My girl was Say. They had tribal council was really great, and the people that I want to stay in are in. So I'm happy.
Rub my nose in it. Thanks a lot. What about you, Brennan?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I think maybe to the untrained eye, it was a boring episode, and I think that's just how great it was. It was exceptional start to finish, and I won't get ahead of myself for Tribal, but I have lots of notes on this episode, so looking forward to talking about it.
Sweet. I love the episode. I have to kick us off with the Mary Say connection. I was living for this exchange between the two of them, and it's just what I wanted it to be, because they were like, I'd rather work together than work against each other at this point. But it was the way they said all of that was just so, it's the thing we wanted from many other seasons, when we saw like these powerful players, and we're like, man, if they teamed up, they would own this thing, and they would never let their egos get in the way and all this other crap get in the way. But these two, I don't know, Cedric, whatever you did at Tribal, the magic and fairy dust you sprinkled on these two, now it's just working out. Brandon, you're just chomping at the bit.
I am. There's not enough sticks in the world to write the message I have to say about these two. They are wonderful. They only connected for about 16 minutes, which is still more time than Christy's gotten on TV. But just how awkward they were competing. It's the stick love notes saying, hey, we're going to go off and go do this now. We just wanted you to know, Mom. It is a wondrous activity, and plenty more to talk about when it comes to Hurricane Say. Alex, your thoughts on Say and Mary?
I mean, I'm not a lot of thoughts, honestly. I mean, it was okay. It was cool. I liked it. I mean, they can be friends. Yeah, I guess. I have other thoughts on the episode. Not too many thoughts on that. I thought it was very sweet. Okay,
it was sweet.
Very good. Okay.
So says the guy that fell asleep to Wicked. Come on.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Brennan, did you like those two coming together, or what were you thinking?
Well, I was going to ask, just to play devil's advocate, is it real, or is it just before they became part of these new tribes? Because the moment they dropped buffs, Say said, I love you guys, and she was super happy to be leaving them. So will it last? I don't know.
For Say it has to last. And I think for Mary, it even has to last. All they got is each other. All they got is each other. No one can trust Cedric right now, which is very interesting. That he was the one mostly telling the truth, except for him voting his whole entire tribe out. Those two right now, until they create allegiances with other people, they have to keep that 100.
Well, Cedric, does this guy believe that Say will forgive him ever? Like you said, he's burned her twice. You can't vote somebody off and then vote them back in, and then think that they're going to work with you. It was total dad moment. Like, you two cut it out back there. He's like, yeah, dude is gullible.
Mm-hmm.
He was super gullible. And to do that, yeah.
And Max's comment, is it real or not? I'm not sure, but it has to be real. Like they have to rely right now on each other. There's only 3 of them right now. Yes, they could jump ship, but right now you got to keep in mind the other 2 tribes have no trust built with each other, except for our Guyanese friends, which we'll talk about later. Those are the only 2. Well, and I guess the 2 of the 3 California girls now. There's the only pockets of trust. It is huge to go to tribal council because that's where you develop that trust. And right now, those are the only places that have it. I think the Say Mary relationship is as real as anything else right now, besides maybe Ava Joe, besides the two California girls. And with that said, Joe has a lot of trust already built in this game after only one lost vote.
Yeah, it's true. I do think that I think their loyalty will be tested if they can make it to merge together, to see Mary and Say kind of come back together, see where they're at with things. I think it's playing both of their games really, really well. That they're on. I think they're melding into this tribe swap. We haven't really talked about the tribe swap, but I think to see them come together and be together the way they were, the sticks, the writing the note and sticks. Do you have enough sticks? She's like, yeah. That's all I have is sticks. What are you talking about? We can't burn anything. We got a lot of sticks. So I really am liking, I like the two of them together. I think it's going to be really, really good until it's not.
We'll find out. Maybe I'm in the minority here, but I think that because Mary and Say have pretty much stayed honest for the most part with each other, especially on that last very dramatic vote out, I think it's one of the strongest things right now on the show.
Yeah.
Which is great, which is crazy because it didn't look that way. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about tribe swap. What do we think about these tribe? Brennan, I'm going to go to you first on this. How did you like the way things shaked out on that tribe swap?
Brennan, right?
Brennan, yeah.
Is he frozen?
He might be. I don't know if he's
frozen on the helicopter.
He's on the helicopter. He's landing. Maybe he's landing right now.
Alex,
I'll go to you right now.
No, okay, wait. Go. Okay, Brennan, are you here?
I think I'm back.
Okay, good.
Go ahead.
What did you think of the
Can you hear
tribe
me?
swap? Yep, we can hear you.
All right, talk about it. Okay, I think I wrote down actually where all of them are and how they were on their old tribes, brought to their new ones. I think if the Survivor production had, can you guys hear me?
Keep going. Oh, what Brennan was trying to say as the representative of Brennan is that the swap was probably the most. Jeff kept on using the same word over and over again. What did he say? He said like 3 times about how there's just so much switch. Usually you have like pockets of groups that go from place to place. But I think the biggest pocket group was the California girls at 3. Mm-hmm. Everybody else was separated 2 or even 1s in Bianca's case. Alex, who do you think struck gold? Which, I think they thought they struck gold, but apparently they did not. And who do you think got completely screwed?
Well, I was like, yes, we're mixing up tribes. We're going to 2 tribes. Yes.
Your dream.
But then they do 3 tribes again. I'm like, how are you going to eliminate 3 people and then go back down to 3 tribes? I'm like, Survivor, can we get 2 tribes? What is up with the small tribes? What is this? Why do we? It's like, because in the, my opinion on this, the tribes, the things like the last tribal just happened, right? You have 3 people.
Who votes? Who's got to vote? Who
yeah. There's really no dynamic going on there, right? There's not. I like the larger group dynamics, and it would have just been perfect. I was like, yes, okay. But who got the short end of the stick? Well, it was Bianca, right? She did, and Say, that's not a strong alliance. The thing is, Cedric is so kind of clueless that he thinks that Say is still with them and can't pick up, and all of her emotions are written on her face. And so if Cedric can't pick up on that, that's kind of, another whatever, Cedric just isn't clued in. And then I don't think Chrissy and Mitch are really that perceptive either. I think they're really not. I like Mitch a lot. I liked Cedric and Mitch's moment together. That was really sweet. I, loved, I think they both had a great moment. That was another great, super heartstrings moment here in Survivor. But yeah, I think Say is, Cedric's going to keep saving her, right? Not learning the same lesson over and over again with her. Who else got the short end of the stick? Camilla and Kyle really did, and they were just lucky enough to have, an idol. And I love, Camilla's my number one pick. I didn't know what I saw with her, but she's smart. She's really smart.
Mhm.
Kyle's really smart. They did something really amazing at Tribal. Tricked all those guys. So yeah, I don't know if anybody really liked it. I thought Ava was really going to struggle. But her
She
and
found
Joe,
David.
yeah, her and David, right? So she just needs that kind of that guy to attach onto. So
Mhm.
I thought Ava was going to really, really struggle, but it looks like she's doing okay. What do you? Okay, Brennan's back. Are we here, Brennan?
We're back.
Okay.
Yes, I hope for good.
Okay. What you were just about to lay it out for us? Go ahead.
On tribes.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I sort of feel like if production was able to choose exactly which buff was drawn, this is exactly how they would have written it up, because it's almost a perfect split among them. There's not any tribe that's heavy on. Really, the one that was the heaviest was Vula, with Joe, Shaheen, and Thomas being 3 versus 2. But all the tribes are split pretty evenly, so I was really pleased with the tribe split.
Yeah, I think that production did it the way they put him into 3, just so someone would have to go to the Vulu camp again and see what a disaster it was, because that almost had its own little section. And then you see the opposite effect with Say going around like, where's the spa? You got your own kitchen, you got a living room, you've got like all these things, and then the difference to the Vula tribe was incredible, because it's just they did nothing there.
If you are somebody that is considering having kids and you don't have any kids yet, watch this episode to see what kids can do to an island within 8 days, compared to what living kid-free can do for your home. This is the episode to watch. This will be the great divide. I love the swap. The swaps were great. I want to talk about kind of what you do say and what you don't say in front of the whole entire group. Say was really, really honest with how she felt about every single thing. How she said, "Hey, like I hope we get in a middle situation to where we can just have both sides go at it and just fight." Gosh, do you say things like that to the whole entire group, kind of displaying your strategy, even though that's probably what they're all thinking she's going to do? What do you guys say? Do you think that what she said is going to affect her game in any way?
100%. I think she says too much.
Yeah, not wise.
Say,
Yeah.
Alex.
Well, is it a scenario where, she's the target so much that the target shifts? You have that where the target is, it's so obvious, we have to vote this person off, that it almost makes people feel uneasy, and then they end up going in another direction because it's such an easy vote. Who doesn't want to vote her off? And she's she's not necessarily a shield, but she's very she's just very out there, and she makes her opinion known. And in a tribe where people, there's maybe too much kumbaya, who's going to confront her on that? And who's going to, be the voice to lead in the opposite direction? Is going to be Joe, right? Where's the other leadership going to come from?
Yep.
But I think in a smaller tribe, and if she doesn't have any known advantages, then her threat level comes down even more, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think in a smaller tribe, she actually probably does worse than in a larger tribe where she's more of an obvious shield.
I thought it was very interesting how she went to her new tribe, and instead of like throwing Cedric completely under the bus, she basically told, was it Bianca?
Bianca.
To kind of assess her for herself, Cedric, which was amazing. I did not think she had that in her to not go completely, hey, you need to, like Ava did. We want Star out. And they kind of, I think, used the correct words in that situation. But I, she has to stay. We've been saying about Say the whole entire season. She has to stay up front and in control. The minute she loses it is the minute she's gone. But right now, my goodness, I would not enjoy playing with somebody moving as fast as she is, for sure.
Well, my My question about what she said, I wrote down the quote because she told, when she was talking to Bianca, she said, I don't know if you want to work with Sid. So it wasn't really, she didn't throw him under the bus really, but she just sort of raised suspicion. But does that really help her? Because Bianca was just looking for a crack, and she found the crack. She found what she wanted, but she can't decide. She hasn't yet to decide which way she's going to go.
Yeah.
So I don't know
Right.
that it really helped her overall. It helps
Oh yeah,
Bianca
it
more than
definitely
anybody.
helped. Yeah, it definitely helped Bianca.
Mhm.
I think Cedric and Mitch kind of making that connection that they did. I did like that moment. I thought it was really cool. I really like Mitch, but I don't see game in him yet. And I don't know if he's just holding back game or just doesn't have game, but I'm not seeing it that much. So yes, Cedric and Mitch is a great combination, but are they going to do anything really? Like,
Right. They have the same temperament. You know, him, Chrissy, and Mitch. They're all kind of just
Chrissy?
easy.
Who's Chrissy?
Right. Chicago lady.
She's a firefighter, which I kind of she's a fire something.
She's a fire lieutenant.
Lieutenant, thank you.
Yes.
But she showed up today. She showed up for the episode. I was happy about that.
37
They found
seconds.
her.
I counted.
37 seconds she had.
Yes.
She picked the middle buff to start with. That was her
That
first.
was her big strategy
moment.
move. She called it. She's like, right in the middle, Jeff.
Yep.
And
All right.
I should have picked her earlier.
But yeah, she had her I think Say is the only powerhouse in that group.
Which means she'll do well in that group.
I know. Because nobody has anything to say against her.
Yeah,
Like
if it was Survivor Luvu or Vulu, she would have won. She would have beaten all 5 people. And now she's in another tribe where it's kind of like, whatever.
And they're and I don't want to sound, well, I'll sound how I sound. She's the only one that can make a plan. The other 4, as they get voted off and she's still there, go, oh, you mean we could have come together and voted her out together? I hadn't thought of that. It's kind of how I feel about it.
Yep.
Well, I sort of have to defend my second, or maybe it was my third overall pick, Bianca, because I feel like she is really smart, but she doesn't have a vote. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, her power is pretty limited against Say right now.
Mm-hmm.
Her best move might be working with Say.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I think that's what they're going to do, because I still don't know how Cedric's going to explain what happened over at Vulu. Like, I have no clue how he's going to build trust with anybody unless it's on a personal level. It's not on a strategic game level. It'll have to be the way that Mitch and him interacted. And that's on a, hey, we have a commonality. This is awesome. Let's talk about this. And then I won't vote you out. I don't think he'll encourage a vote against, but he'll definitely work in the way of, like, don't vote me out because we're friends right now. We'll see what happens. That is say.
I wanted to just bring up the fact that David is doing pretty well this episode.
Yeah, Brie, you're kind of vindicated.
I have to say.
Yeah, Brie, we were kind of hating, but
yeah, you
I
were.
mean, he's kind of nice. I mean, I kind of like David. He's kind of handsome.
Is he playing all of us though? I mean, he can't be that nice, surely.
He has 3 sisters. Right. He doesn't have any brothers. He's learned to
he's adaptable.
Nice yeah.
I do have a question about him. Did you guys notice that he said that his girlfriend broke up with him?
I did hear that this episode.
But last week it was like, oh no, we're just waiting for marriage, and now it's like, oh, she broke up with me and I'm going to come back with a ring.
What happened was he found a group of sticks that said, David, I'm breaking up with you.
The girlfriend doesn't exist. Yeah.
Yeah. I know he's going to get to Final Tribal and tell us that that's what he used to get all of us.
I mean, 38-year-old guy, like,
lives in a trailer in his
lives in a trailer. Yeah, right.
Driveway.
Right. I mean, we're not making. I mean, that's fine. It's okay. Could be a nice trailer. Rent is high these days. We all understand.
Hey, I love the trailer in the driveway thing. Trust me, I talked about that
Yeah,
last
right.
week.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, that's a smart move, man.
Yeah, that
Because
was
when
no
they
fault to
leave, you
Breeze.
still have a trailer that you can either use or sell. So you're not out a lot of money. It's a
Well, he's-
smart play.
Well, he's really imbibing the actor, right? Living in the trailer, right? Because he wants to be an actor, so he's okay.
There you
That's
go.
a good point, Brent. Yeah. Is the girlfriend even real?
Mm.
We don't
Mm.
know. Is
I
that
mean,
the
my-
story?
My survivor stock of David went up from this week, but also my suspicion of him went up. So we'll see. But I
He's
had this whole
dripping.
theory. Yes,
Dripping
I had
out
this.
the information.
Yeah, I had this
Oh.
whole theory last year too, though. With what was it? What's his name? Kyle, the guy last year who was a vegan, but he ate those chicken wings like they were nothing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Right. The
The
vegan Youper. There ain't no.
Yeah.
There ain't. Oh, we're getting the Youper accent. There
Yes.
ain't no vegan Youpers.
I did it,
No,
guys.
no Youper is a vegan. Okay. not 100%, not 120%, none percent.
I can't right now. The story, the season shocker is that Say is actually David's girlfriend,
Oh my
and
goodness.
and spelled it out with the stick. So just wait, folks. The season's about to get really interesting. I think
4 nipples are coming out.
David stock right now for me. I was surprised about him kind of playing Charity right now. Charity thinks that that's her puppy dog, and right now it seems like David is kind of using Charity, so that's going to be a fun relationship or vote whenever if ever they vote. They haven't voted all season, so we'll see what happens.
Well, it gave David some depth for the very first time. I was like, David, because he's been
but he likes rom-com, so that's not enough depth for you.
Yeah, well, no, not really. But the fact that he was just like, oh, Charity thinks this, but it's not. I was like, David, wow, I wasn't expecting that from you. You might have a little game, a little depth in there that we didn't expect. Alex, you're like,
I mean, I was just saying, David is a player. This guy's playing Charity. She thinks he's some big oaf. Is this how it goes back home? Is this the girl? Maybe he broke up with her.
Maybe Charity is the girlfriend.
Right.
I think you bringing up Charity with David is something that that stuck out to me, is the contrast between the way that Ava threw Star under the bus and the way that David threw Christy under the bus, or not Christy, Charity under the bus. Yeah,
a lot of buses this episode.
Yeah, but I feel like the way Eva went across it, she in front of everybody, we got to get rid of Star, which raises a lot of suspicion on her too. It's not the most tactful way to do it, but then the way David did it is he just in private to Eva brought up some suspicion against Charity, which I think was a better move.
That was huge. And I mean, let's not compare Ava with anybody else this season. I love Ava, but her saying I'm going to be away from Joe and Shaheen to everybody basically said, hey, here's my alliance of 2 other guys. We're away now, so please don't do anything until merge because I need to have these guys in my oh wow. Secrets. Loose lips sinks ships. Is that the phrase?
Yes,
it
does. Yeah.
Buses and ships, all episode long, guys.
Yeah, it was planes, trains, and automobiles. Yeah, we had all kinds of stuff going on. I think just seeing the way, I was worried for Ava. We saw her at Tribe Swap with the hand thing, which she said was, her tell of when things aren't going well, right? And she was struggling at that point. Joe left that kind of saying, Ava, you're going to be okay. There was that father figure kind of thing that he was trying to give her, that last bit of you're going to be okay kind of a thing. But Ava, she's been throwing Star under the bus this whole season. Not a problem with doing that. She was like, hey, Star's not going to do this, and she should sit out. And I think that'll be Ava's downfall, is the fact, not so much that she said she's in an alliance with Shaheen and Joe, but more of the fact that she doesn't hide who she doesn't want around. Mm-hmm. And she's very, very blunt and open with everyone on that. And they're just going to get tired of that. And I
Mhm,
think that'll be her downfall.
Well, we got to think about who is Ava going to be able to work with, because it's one thing to have David, but is she going to be able to work with Mary? You know, she can't work with Star, and Charity and David have a rift. So okay, now they're bringing in Mary. I know Mary will probably work with anybody, but I have a feeling Mary would be more comfortable working with Charity and Star.
Who do you think Mary would vote out?
Ava.
Mm.
You think she'd vote Ava out?
I think she'd go
Yeah.
along with the herd. I don't know who she would vote out or like target. I think she's waiting to vote with the herd, at least
Right.
for one vote right now.
Agreed.
One
Maybe David's the biggest personality on that and can sway Mary, right? He's the most, he has the most kind of gravity, or he's the the
Mary-
swing vote, you could say, right?
Yeah, Mary said something along the lines of like, "Hey, David, he could be my. I'll be."
Oh
I'll be his
she was
sister,
crushing
yeah.
on him.
Yeah.
little crush right there. So I think that David is fine until merge. I think he's going to be.
He was referred to as the Chad of the season, right? So
Yes.
on a
And-
tribe full of,
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember the Blood versus Water where Vetus was all alone with the women, and he didn't stand a chance. And that was basically a difference in personality between a Vetus type and a David type. So I think David is safe with this all girl +1 team. And I think for the same reason, Charity could be in trouble because they are looking to kind of dismantle that tribe right now, because it's the only tribe that is still completely intact since a California girl went home. So something to watch. I think Charity could be in a world of trouble if they ever go to tribal.
Yeah. I just noticed that on my draft team, now that we've lost Thomas, I have all my 3 are now together, I should say, in the same tribe. So I just have to hope that tribe doesn't go to tribal for the next couple of episodes. I could see them turning on Ava and keeping these 3 together for a while. That would, because concerning me as Star, but I think first of all, she's gonna stop wandering around the island by herself. And I think she's probably going to I think she might actually pull Mary in to help her solve her puzzle. So I'm hoping that happens, because we didn't hear much about it. We didn't hear anything about it. The only person that really talked about all of the things was Thomas, who said, this person has that, this person has that.
I'm going to miss him narrating this season. He is phenomenal. Go and watch the Jeff Probst's podcast on the season. That he does a great job kind of telling you exactly what happens, including the bit where Ava did say, "Hey, Star, like, you shouldn't be in this challenge. You shouldn't be in this challenge." He did a great job of saying, "Hey, like, it was before talked about all that is that Star wasn't comfortable with swimming all that much." So they just showed that part of the episode where Ava kind of pinpointed Star. Not saying that Ava's not aggressive with her approach, but Thomas did a great job of narrating this season. I'll miss Thomas for sure.
Can Star? So we have a from Max here. While we are talking about Star, how is she still not able to solve the advantage? She's not on the same island, or she's not on the same.
She's on the same beach.
Oh, she was.
That's actually one of my
leave
questions.
that beach.
Yeah, what happens?
Not solve it, right? What happens? But all the answers were pretty simple. What was it? Listen, and then Brendan probably knows the other. It was listen, and then what was the other one?
Enlist.
Enlist. I mean, enlist is
Same
kind
letters.
of out there word, right? Same letters. So you would think that you could just, scroll and eventually maybe find it. There's quite a few letters on each reel though, so it'd be definitely pretty difficult, but probably not impossible. But yeah, what does Star do? I think you're right. She probably will take in Mary. That's probably a good guess there to help solve.
I think she'll ask for help from Mary. I think that'll really help them. I think we should get rid of Ava. Let me, I need to get my vote back so we can get rid of Ava, and we'll have this idol to keep us safe. I think because she sees Mary as the one person that didn't bring anybody from her original tribe with her and needing a friend. And I think I would like to see, that's just what I hope to see. I don't know if that will happen. But I want to shift gears again. I want to talk, and we talked about it just a tiny bit at the beginning, but let's talk about Oscar performances this episode. From here's the thing that I love so much about Camilla, and I put Camilla two exclamation points, and then I wrote contender. That was the note I wrote to myself. But let's talk about the fact that Camilla and Kyle have a plan without talking about a plan.
There's old school, there's new school, and there's next school. That's a very next school move to know the show so much that, hey, I'm going to be talking. We haven't talked strategy at all. I'm going to do something that seems very controversial, and you're going to know exactly why I'm doing it. Wow.
It all started with Camilla saying that she was on the bottom of her tribe, and then Kyle just had to pick up on that and roll with it, and he did a perfect job too. And Shaheen, they had hook, line, sinker that whole episode. My survivor stock in him dropped. Hopefully this is a wake up call for him, and moving forward he opens his eyes. But yeah, I mean they had him more than Thomas or Joe. Joe was just apathetic to it, but Shaheen, he was dumbfounded.
I do think it would have been smart on their part too to fake it out, to search through his bag to make it give the appearance that they were going to vote Kyle out, right? So there was just really no strategy, no subtlety. They didn't even try to lie to Kyle and them. They didn't even say, oh, we're going to split it. We're going to put 2 here and 1 here just in case. So if you guys do vote together, they didn't try to put out any extra plan to these guys. And I mean, this puts a lot on Joe too. I mean, where's Joe? And he didn't say anything. It was basically Thomas and him. And I think that is Joe's game. He's really he's going to play this honorable game and not really do, so it's not looking good for Joe either or for Shaheen. And I agree. I was like, wow, Shaheen is, I'm glad. Yeah.
He dropped the ball on this one.
Yeah, he dropped the ball.
Yeah.
This also is what happens when you don't go to tribal for 8 days. So you've never played the game. You're not uncomfortable yet. You just become comfortable, and you pull a Joe, you pull a Shaheen, and you just go with whatever. And then that's why it's almost best that Joe had no reaction to anything. Even at tribal, he was still like, the whole entire time. And that's probably Joe's best move through this whole entire thing, is just to be as calm as a cucumber and just kind of watch and reflect to see, okay, that was a shocking and bizarre thing that just happened. Shaheen, on the other hand, I'm quite concerned. Probably the best thing for Shaheen and Joe's game, to be honest, because I don't think they beat Thomas later in the season. I think Thomas would have been way too smart for them. So this is a good case of, I think I would love to see Thomas come back and play the game. If I haven't said I love Thomas, I love Thomas. But I think that you're exactly right, Bern and Alex, that this was a huge play by how they got them to not think they've talked when they're the only 2 Guyanese people in the game of Survivor.
They didn't say that till tribal.
Yeah.
They didn't say that till tribal. And I think that was, and I actually think that was a mistake that they said that at tribal, because
Jeff was goading it out of them.
Yeah. And I think they took the bait, and it kind of got a little hairy at that point. I was a little worried when they threw that. I was surprised because of how well they were playing this, that they actually dropped that little nugget in there. But I think maybe they figured the cat will be out of the bag after they see how we play them so well. So I guess it doesn't really matter at this point. But I do think it gives them that extra connection that they maybe didn't know about, so that those that stay around, as they get, if they make to merge, they'll be like, those 2 are super tight. They're both, this is what they share with each other. I don't know. I just don't think you ever give information if you don't need to. And so I didn't like that they dropped that nugget in there, because it could come back to bite them later.
I felt the same way on my first watch, Bree, but when I rewatched it, I actually thought that it further enhanced their gameplay they were doing, because it was like, we tried to work together even in this situation, but even with this, we have to throw each other under the bus. So I sort of felt like it strengthened their arguments, and they did it at the right time, the very end at tribal, kind of too late for the California girls, I think.
True.
Do
I
we
see that.
do we think that Camilla is a great enough actor and Kyle is a great enough actor to pull off this? I think that the move they did was definitely a huge, we survived and we got them out. But I think a thriving moment would have been if Camilla could have played off an acting job so incredible that she votes Kyle as well. She's with the California girls on the vote. They all vote for Kyle. He plays the immunity, and now Thomas goes home, and the California 2 are still thinking, okay, well, Camilla's still with us. We can try this again. And they could be safe, especially with their extra vote, for another tribal council. Like, where are you guys at with that?
So didn't she give her extra vote to Kyle to play?
He didn't play it, though.
He did not, right?
He did not play it.
Oh,
He-
thought
I
saw
don't
that
think
had
he
in his
played
hand,
it.
but I
No,
guess
he pulled it.
I guess
He
wouldn't
pulled it
have
out of his pocket at tribal. But then at the end, when they show them reading the votes or showing their votes, the voting
Yeah.
montage, he did not show 2 votes. He only showed
Oh,
1.
interesting.
So I think,
Yeah,
I think
they
it-
wouldn't need it.
yeah, I think that's a great point, Brandon. If they were thinking a little bit ahead, they would have. But
Yeah.
then part of me also thinks if they did save that extra vote, then they might not need it. You know,
Right.
if they go to tribe again, it's 3v2 with an extra vote.
Right.
Well, and maybe they want to use, hey, we tricked you guys so bad. Now you two need to turn on each other. So they're trying to get, and then Shaheen, he'd be like, oh my god. I don't think Joe would maybe switch, but I think Shaheen would be like willing to.
Are we still sure he didn't play it? So here's the scenario, because they said if the vote goes, we have to hope they don't put the vote on Camilla, because if they put it on Camilla, right? And Kyle played the idol for himself, but the vote actually went to Camilla, then it would be Joe, Shaheen, and Thomas voting for Camilla, and it would be Camilla, Kyle, and the extra vote voting for Thomas. So then we would be in a tie vote situation. Now, here's where I don't understand. Then Camilla wouldn't vote and Thomas wouldn't vote, but would Kyle still get 2 votes?
I don't know.
I don't
That's
know
a good
either.
point. I'm looking at the Survivor fandom page. It does not say that either Camilla or Kyle have an extra vote anymore. It says that there is one advantage in the game, and it is the vote blocker by Mitch.
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
I'm
so
not
I
very
think they
indeed.
did play it.
But yeah, it doesn't really make
Because it
sense.
would have
I guess
been
they
a
wouldn't really need
3-3.
to.
Because if they didn't play it, then Camilla would have gone home, because those 3 would have voted for Camilla. So even though Kyle, you know what I mean?
Mhm. Oh, I see what you mean.
I still think that they didn't play it, only based on the montage. I mean, he did take it out at tribal, but I still think they would have showed that extra vote. They wouldn't have had to
writing it
read
down.
it. Jeff wouldn't have had to read it because 2 would have been enough. But I still think they saved it. And I'm hoping it's sort of like what Max brought up earlier. The moment that they searched Kyle's bag in front of Camilla, Camilla was like, we're golden.
Right.
Play your idol on you. And
Yeah,
we're
that's
saving
what
this
Max
extra
is saying
vote.
too here.
Well,
Yeah.
we got to say too, could there be a love interest between Camilla and Kyle? I think they both probably are like have something back home. I mean, it seems like it.
Mhm.
But I mean, that'd be very cute. Talking about cute, Johanna wanted another Robin Amber.
Yeah.
But Max has what was the comment from Max here, Bree?
This one here, I knew the travel was going to go exactly as they planned, because
I see.
they went through Kyle's bag in front of Camilla.
Right.
And I do think that probably played a hand in it.
Yeah.
But I also, we did see them on the beach talking the moment, like they let the California girls went to confer on who they were going to vote on, right? We saw them throw in, count of 3, throw a name out, whatever. So then Kyle, it was the only time Kyle and Camilla could actually go have a private conversation. And, they did bring up the fact that if, we have to make sure if I play the idol for myself, that the vote doesn't go to you. Was that before they searched the bag or after?
That was after,
I
and
feel-
you could tell that it was a really short conversation because Camilla was like trying to walk away, and it's like, I gotta go change clothes. They searched her bag, they didn't find anything, and Kyle was panicking, like, how did they not find it? It was in my shoe.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Shaheen and Thomas, like they're gonna be finding if they're invited to any Easter egg hunts, they're gonna be looking till Christmas. The fact that they could not find an idol in a shoe in a bag,
Yeah.
or you got 30 seconds. You can go through a bag in 30 seconds, I'm sure.
I also think if they had any suspicion of Camilla, if they had just looked at her face, it was written all over her face that she was panicked in that moment. So that would have given them a clue, but they didn't even look at her. They 100% trusted her.
Smart play by her, because it would be a natural response to be like, guys, don't do that, to try to take like some moral high ground in that moment to try to protect him and be like, you know what, we really shouldn't do that. A lot of people I think would have done that. And she's playing a game that I wouldn't expect her to play. I picked her to win. Okay, we'll just remind her of that because maybe she will. But I thought she played like the super underground, low-key game, cerebral, not telling, very underground. And her threat level is very high. And she mentioned that. She's like, other people look at me as more of a threat than I do, and I think it's just because there's not a lot of good people, smart people out there, like puzzle makers and stuff. But but she's playing a very high-profile game, which I didn't really expect. I thought she'd be very quiet, and she blew that up right when she got there with Thomas and the lie and all. She's out there, so it's cool to see. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, you could tell that the California Girls Alliance isn't made up of women, because women would have not only found an idol in there, they would have found a pack of gum, they would have found some food, some jerky, they would have found everything and wrote a detailed list about how they found it and where they found it. Those guys looked like a bunch of guys looking for something in the house that the wife says, hey, go find my hairbrush. Like, it was the epitome of how guys search for something, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I told my son to go get something out of the kitchen, and I'm like, it's on the counter, and he's like this.
Yeah, go look for the sink in the kitchen. Where is it, Mom?
And I'm like, he looks at every place but where I told him to look.
Yep.
Okay, I got it. Here, we're gonna play a game really quick. On the count of 3, raise your hand if you would search someone's bag. 1, 2, 3. Oh, Brandon's the only one that wouldn't do it.
I know you have to. I know I'd probably be voted off because of that. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I couldn't bring myself to do it. So
I love it.
I'm not saying it's a great strategy on my part. I just don't know if I could do it.
It'd be tough. The Brennan in real life, tough to do it. The Brennan on Survivor, got to do it.
Gotta do
Well,
it.
it's not like you're gonna find like something inappropriate or like drug. What I mean? It's like they're not. What are they? There's only one thing they could be hiding in there. It's not like you'd be like, oh wow, I didn't know this about them. Wow. Johanna says
Yes.
only would search their bag if the person was a jerk.
Yes. Yeah. Half hand.
Niceness rule. So this is Johanna, a little insight to her.
Yeah, if you're Randy from the wedding photographer Randy from seasons ago, I'm searching your bag. Jatia, I'm searching your bag. Brandon Hance, I'm searching your bag. So yeah, I agree with Johanna on that one for sure.
You see this stuff with Brandon Hance recently?
Oh dear.
Oh yeah.
I try not to.
Yeah.
He's obviously not changed a whole lot. He's gotten worse. So yeah, Brandon.
The gang thing was real. Who would have thought?
Yeah. Yeah, there's
actually, you know what? I take that back. The gang isn't real. Don't come after me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by Brandon's right now. Brandon's right now.
Wait, are you guys?
Wait, what? Okay, next question. This before we get into predictions and things. What would you bond over with somebody? Like we saw the Cedric and Mitch bond. We saw Joe and Ava bonding over just, him figure and her needing that kind of protection. And then we see Denise bond. Are you looking for something like that to?
Whatever I have to. If we have to bond over our love for orange Tic Tacs, we're talking about Tic Tacs for 35 minutes a day.
Absolutely.
Anything. What I don't like in life, my pet peeves, if we have the same pet peeves, I'm using that. Use everything. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Swift songs, anything it takes.
And I mean, that's why he was so good at the game, right? Is because no one else was a Taylor Swift band, but he found somebody else that was Van Halen or Metallica or whatever it was.
Metallica.
Charlie did such a great job. It wasn't even something they bonded over that was similar. They used that in order to bond over something, just a little bit of a commonality. Boom.
Yep.
75 songs.
Anything and everything.
Yep.
So question, I'm on with Brie with the follow-up. What would you bond with Alex and Brennan over, just by your 5 minutes of knowing Brennan and your couple years worth of knowing Alex, what would you choose to bond with these guys?
I want to ride on a helicopter, and Brennan is a helicopter pilot. So that's that would definitely be the first thing. I think that it's, you know, I think that we know Survivor is bound us, that's probably the right word, together, because it's just how, you say in a room, I'm a Survivor. Oh, you're a Survivor fan, right? This is the year of the fan, or the season of the fan. This is what we're talking about. Season of the fan. That's what we're celebrating it as well. I think there is a love for that. And I think that if we look at why we love Survivor, would be the binding force, right? Because we love the dynamics of this stuff. We love to see how people come together and survive. And it's not just, maybe we love reality shows, but I think this one doesn't give me that reality show stuff as much, because it's the reasons that we love it are, how do they form? I at least for me, is how do they form this society together, get along, adapt, and overcome, and while doing all these crazy things and not having food or flint or whatever it is. There is a passion for life and seeing how others interact with each other. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but that's kind of my love of the game, is to see how they go through all this and form their own little society and groups. And that's what keeps bringing me back. 48 seasons, which I've watched like the first 40 seasons, maybe 3 or 4 times every season. Right. So what is it about that? And I think that's the thing that binds us together more than anything, at least in this group.
And I think in this group and on Survivor, everybody on Survivor now is a super fan. There's nobody on Survivor now. Maybe in the first 4 or 5 seasons, maybe the first 10 seasons, you'd have people that were, oh yeah, I heard about it, I signed up for it, don't know anything about it. But now everybody's thinking about those kinds of things.
The problem with using Survivor, though, is that if you say too much about your knowledge of Survivor, then you're in trouble.
Don't say you're a podcast host.
Don't
Definitely
say
not.
Podcast, we do not survive.
No.
Don't say you're a podcast host. Don't tell people who your favorite Survivor is, because guess what? They're going to know that you play like that Survivor, and they're going to watch out for that, and they're going to use that against you. Say you like Keith Nail, or say you like somebody who had no real strategy during the game. That will make you go a lot further in the game.
Purple Kelly is my favorite player.
Oh man, I love Keith Nail. But Alex, what's your take on bonding and how to do it on the game of Survivor?
Bree knows this. I'm not very good on the small talk, like, oh, you like this, I like this, like hyping people up in that way. I'm very mission focused on, let's get this done, let's get this done, let's get this done. So I don't know. It would be hard for me. I'm not a dad. I don't got, I don't have an encyclopedia knowledge on things too. So I can't recall like, oh, what's your favorite movie? I'd be like, I forgot. What's the name of my favorite movie?
During it.
Yeah. I fell asleep. I don't know. I asked Joanne, I'm like, what's my favorite movie? What's that food called? So that would be a part where I would really, that's kind of where I think me on Survivor, I'd be very interested to see how I do on Survivor. I think I do get along with people very well. I think I'm charming in a way, but that relating to that like hobby, you're like, oh my God, you like that? I love chocolate cake.
And David does a great job at that.
Yeah. When David was doing that with Ava, like Ava was like totally like, she was like serious about the jet ski. David, I think he was like, oh my God, just kind of going with that. So I would have a hard time with that. I think I would maybe connect with people in a different way, but that might make me seem too strategic, because I'm not willing to relate to people on that level, like build that relationship. Alex is all strategy, and that's what I would be doing. I would be doing all strategy all the time. Like, don't you logically see why we should be working together? Because everybody should work with me logically, right? So, but let's read this comment from Max Bree.
Yep, I'm similar to Alex. It would be very hard for me, and I am the same way about small talk and whatnot. I always say I would get voted off so fast. I know how I would connect with Alex immediately, and it would be travel. It would be, oh, you've lived here, oh, you've lived there. I've lived in a few, and I would try to like He would hate the bug. Alex would be one big miserable bug
Yeah,
bite.
everybody
Yeah,
would like laughing, or they're feeling really sorry for me.
right. Yeah. Okay, I have another question. I do like that. I think that's cool. I think finding ways to bond. I think that you would still be really good at it, Alex. Brandon, you would be just a slam dunk because because I know this about you, because you work with so many different people all the time that you'll find commonalities with anyone. I think that that's a strong suit of yours, whether it's playing the right tunes to motivating and encouraging and the things that you do in your life. I think you would find a way to bond with people almost immediately over anything.
Well, thank you for that. And go ahead, Brendan. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I sat in a coffee shop with Brandon for like an hour and we didn't stop talking the whole time. That was the first time I ever met him.
He means I didn't stop talking the whole time.
Either way.
No. We had oh my gosh, come visit Indianapolis, anybody and everybody. So on top of that, I think it's, even if you're not good at it or consider yourself not to be good at something, it is, I think, a great thing for a business. Remain authentic about it. Don't just like do this just because. But if you can develop at least one thing that you can talk to every single person in the world about, do that thing. Not only will it help anything you're growing successfully, but I think it'll make this world a better place too. Just the fact that we are constantly looking for those commonalities, and through those commonalities, you can start building that relationship, which then can get into, okay, we disagree on these things. Well, let's go back to commonality real quick for about an hour, and then we can go back to disagreeing again. We'll have enough relationship to talk it out. Alex, I think because of that reason, because of what you said, you're more strategic in that area. I would quickly work with you because I could not work with myself. I would get annoyed with myself easily. But I think that you'd have to work with somebody that kind of sees things differently. And I think that's what me and you would talk about on that island. For sure.
With
that felt like to me like a tribal speech there, Brandon. Right. I felt like you were like on the tribal seat right there, and Jeff asked you a question. Really, it was good.
Well, thank you.
But yeah, I agree. I think I would try to connect. I would be that person who would find that pair. Like that's me. Like I'm the pair bonded person. Like I find the pair and I work with the pair, and like I'm like the ride or die, right? Yep. And and I would probably pick someone pretty different from me. Definitely not the same. Right. That's kind of my nature.
Well, I feel like
that was a good dynamic. Go ahead.
Brennan, go ahead.
One of the strengths that you have, Alex, which you're saying is a weakness, but one of the strengths that you have is that you're not going to be someone who's easily moved, and you're not going to be someone who will give up too much at tribal, even just by your facial expressions. So I think that is someone that would be really good to work with, especially someone like Brandon, who's maybe more expressive, to work with someone like Alex, who's more even-keeled.
Well, me and Brandon got to play together because I've always identified as the outsider, right? But I'm not like the outsider, like, oh, this guy's, but I've always kind of just been willing to be like, I'd be the guy to be like, moralistically, let's not look there. Or like, I'm not afraid to be a part of the group. Mm-hmm. Right. Or like, I'm not in the group. I don't identify with the group. I'm outside of the group looking at the group, strategically. And then Brandon, he's like, well, he's in the group. He's bringing the group together. He's, the leader and the, personality of the group. So I think Brandon, we have to go together.
Let's do this. Yeah. I would be the one, and we got to stop talking about this because I don't know how people are feeling about this, but
Serena loves it.
I great. Then we'll continue to talk forever. I would get the group together, and then it would be we'd lose a challenge of some sort, probably puzzle making, and you'd, for some reason, put me in charge of the puzzle. We would lose. And you would be the one that'd have to talk to me and be like, okay, so I've been talking to people, what's going on? Like, what's our next move here? I would play a little bit more strategically than that, but you would definitely be able to focus me in on, okay, like, let's go.
But and while y'all have been talking, I've already gone through all your bags. You don't know this, but I've already searched your bags. You guys were busy, weren't paying attention to me. It's okay. It's all good. I went through your bags. Last question, and then we got to go to our final predictions and wrap things up. Yeah. What is your profession on the show? What are you saying is your profession on the show? Mine, I make vegan bath and body products. I'm a soap maker.
So
I do know a lot about it, and it is a true fact about me, but I ain't saying I'm a podcaster.
I would think you're lying through your teeth.
Or I can talk about saponification and
okay,
how to
yeah.
use oils and how to get the right trace and how to pour and how to mix and how to do a Clyde slide. I know a lot about it. So, yep, I could sell that.
That's okay. I take it back.
I'm convinced.
I take it back. You've been thinking about this, Brennan.
I have.
Oh man, I think I'd have to find something that's just close enough to the truth, or something like Bree said that I can talk a lot about. So I work in the business field. I would say I work like in HR or something. Just enough I can talk about it. Just boring enough that people aren't going to question me a lot about it.
Wait, are you really a helicopter pilot?
I'm not a helicopter pilot. I'm so sorry to burst your bubble.
That would actually be a great profession.
Right.
Yeah, that's
I'm a
good one.
helicopter pilot.
Well, then as soon as someone starts asking me questions, I'd be like, I'm a
You're like
lawyer.
a
I don't know.
secret
agent,
Words
or
up.
like, okay. Can't even say it on the show. I would say I'm a hotel manager.
That's good.
That's how I identify.
That's
as
a good one, though.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
would you not use your real job?
I don't want to say I'm a successful online entrepreneur.
Well, you
There's no
have to say
sympathy in that.
successful.
People are like,
Don't
screw
say
you.
successful.
Yeah, I'm an unsuccessful online entrepreneur. I need this money, guys, bad. I haven't worked a real job in 5 years. I have nothing on my resume. I really need this money. Yeah, I
My
should say that.
girlfriend hates the fact I'm so unsuccessful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should
And I
say,
live in a
I'm actually
trailer.
I'm a failed YouTuber. Yeah, I'm a failed podcast host. No, I'm just joking.
Brandon, what about you?
I would definitely not say so. I'm three things. Podcast. We're not getting paid for this. So podcaster. I'm a youth director at a church. I would not say that one because any religion, politics, it doesn't. I don't care who you are. It just will not. That's very controversial. That's very much people have opinions about you right off the get-go. So I would not use that. So I'd use my third job, which would be a wedding DJ. I think that's a completely fair assessment. And I don't think that people realize in that job just how mentally sold you have to be because there's so many cheap wedding DJs out there that don't do a great job. So I think that wedding DJ is enough to be entertaining enough, but also not kind of share the secrets. Pizza manager, that has a lot of huge pieces. Alex, you talked about how pizza manager, he was really playing up the fact that was going to be a huge help of his, right?
Yeah, I play this game like I manage the pizza shop, one slice at a time.
Slice at a time. All right, we got to wrap things up. We got 2 minutes left. Our pick. Who is going home next week? We'll start with Brandon.
Okay. I'm gonna keep my 4. I am doing wonderful in this contest this year compared to last year. So I'll do that. And I think that I think Say's fine for right now. I think that it's going to be the tribe that has everybody still in it. Therefore, I'm gonna say it's gonna be. Oh gosh, do I really believe that? Bianca.
Okay.
Bianca.
Alex.
Yeah, I say Bianca. I think at the end of the day, Say will be logical and vote with the majority and vote Bianca off.
I feel personally attacked with all this Bianca talk. Looking at my board, I definitely do not think it's going to be Bianca. I think it's going to be Eva, and I think
that was my second
on Logi, they're pretty much all solo players at this point. They came from somewhere else, but David and Charity aren't working together. Star and Eva aren't working together, and Mary's on her own. I think the weakness they're going to find is Eva. Heard it here first.
To agree. Yeah, I'm going to agree with Brennan on that. That was who I was going to pick. I think that we're going to see all of this kind of come together. She threw Star under the bus. I think that rubbed people the wrong way, and I think we're going to see her. I think her time will come, and Joe's not there to protect her. I don't think David's going to be able to stand up and just be like, that's it. I think he's too smart. So I think her time is coming.
I'm going to take mine back real quick because I saw that Bianca's not on the majority tribe. It's the orange team or whatever color that is. I think it's going to be Charity. I think David's going to turn on her, seeing that they are majority. They need to vote somebody on their own tribe. Therefore, Charity goes. That's my final.
All right. Well, that wraps us up. We are at the end of the show. Brennan, thanks for coming on again. You're welcome anytime. We will see you guys next week. And if any one of you is going to be in the Twin Cities area and going to be at the Mall of America tomorrow for the CBS Survivor Beach Drop, I will be there. I will see you guys there. It's going to be a fun time. I'm hopefully going to have some videos to share on next week's episode. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out with us. Bye, everybody.